Good morning, Panthers. Happy Friday. Today is a bonus read aloud day, and it's an important read aloud day. So we are talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Monday, we have the day off, but it's not just any day off. It's a day for us to celebrate, honor, remember all of the tremendous work that Dr. King did when it came to the fight for equality for African Americans. And our work is not done. We have a lot of work still to do. And so we're going to learn about what Dr. King's life was all about, what inspired him, how he kept going and persevering, even when things were very difficult. And there's still work that we can be doing, important work. And so we're going to be learning some lessons from Dr. King's life. So here's our story. It's one of my very favorite books about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's called Martin's Big Words. It's written by Doreen Rappaport, illustrated by Brian Collier. Martin's Big Words, the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Everywhere in Martin's hometown, he saw the signs, white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad until he remembered what his mother told him. You are as good as anyone. In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father, and he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He said together when others said separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. In 1955, on a cold December day in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit. She said no and was arrested. Montgomery's Black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in rain and cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. And here's another one of his big words. When the history books are written, someone will say there lived Black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, Black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. White ministers told them to stop. Mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop, but they kept on marching. Wait, for years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. They were jailed and beaten and murdered, but they kept on marching. Some Black Americans wanted to fight back with their fists. Martin convinced them not to by reminding them of the power of love. Love is the key to the problems of the world. And that's part of the big words that I have on my shirt. These are words that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. shared. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him and his family. His house was bombed. His brother's house was bombed. But he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little Black boys and Black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world, and people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words, not fists. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot. He died. His big words are alive for us today. What big words do you notice? Freedom, peace, together, I have a dream, and love. And then on the back here, it gives us a timeline of different things, important dates from Dr. Martin Luther King. And you can see he was born in 1929. He married Coretta Scott in 1953. Here it talks about his children that were born and the different protest movements he participated in. He delivered the I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington in 1963. The Civil Rights Act was signed in 1964, which prohibited discrimination in public accommodations and in employment. And in 1964, he also was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He took part in Selma, Alabama, in the protest movement there in 1965. And that's also when the Voting Rights Act became law. In 1968, he was assassinated. And you can see from this point forward, 1986, we have a holiday now where we celebrate all of the work that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. performed during his life. But we know we still have a lot of work left to do. And there are a lot of things that are happening around us right now that I know you've seen and heard. And this is still part of the work, part of the big words that Dr. Martin Luther King shared. Those words continue, and the fight for equality continues. So with that, on Monday, instead of just having the day off, I want you guys to think about what are some of the things, the big words that Dr. Martin Luther King shared? How can we continue some of those big words as we work together to achieve the dream, which is equality? All right, so we have some extra resources that we're also posting today. Be sure to check those out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, a good weekend. Celebrate, reflect, set some goals on how you can also be a part of our journey towards equality. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.